So it's safe to he like it, but he don't respect his privilege. Yeah, I so funny games.
You know I'm ballin', usual like Kobe. Ooh, worry about a hater that don't know me. He say that he tough, then that boy gotta show me. Pull up Billy truck, extra pose, and we fold deep.
Alright, what's up guys, it's Elijah here. In today's video, we're going to be going over the studies feature in TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim, and specifically the studies and settings that I use to day trade and gather data. Alright, so this here is the basic Thinkorswim chart layout with no studies and just the regular settings. It looks a little ugly and bland and there's not much information that you could gather from it. I personally don't trade in the chart setting, which is why it still looks like this. I use the flexible grid, which is found in this top left area of the chart. Flexible grid basically allows you to add more charts and buttons to your layout so you could look at different stocks and trade multiple stocks from one screen. So I'm going to just quickly go over my settings that I use to just clean the chart up a bit so it looks a little bit more clear to read. So up here, if you go and click on settings, this tab will open. So under general, I took off the overlap volume feature because I use a different volume under the studies setting. Under price axis, I added a fit studies so that my standard deviation channel that you'll see later in the video would fit onto the screen. And then I also moved the expansion area to 20% up and 10% down. This will change how much higher and lower below the candlesticks you will be able to see. It's a lot easier to see where the stock is moving into rather than the screen just hugging to the candle as it reaches new highs or new lows. Next, under the time axis tab, I removed the show expiration Friday and added a 10-bar expansion area. This expansion area determines how much horizontally to the right you'll be able to see on your graph. Next, under appearance, I didn't really do much except I went and changed the background to completely black so that I can see the candlesticks colors pop a little bit more. And lastly, I changed the volume subgraph for the futures and for equities so that I can add the volume in later on my studies. So those were my settings. Now let's go into the studies that I use. I use two different saved studies across my 3 monitors. I have one study that I use on my laptop and another study that I use on my 2 monitors. This here is my laptop study. I like to keep it very simple with a triple moving average and a volume subgraph so that I have space to draw trend lines and support and resistance levels along with making trades over here in my active trader. So I'm going to zoom in a bit so that you guys can see the studies a little bit more clear. You can ignore the dark red lines, they're just resistant lines and trend lines I drew while trading. But as you can see, I have 3 lines. I have a blue one, an orange one, and a red one. These 3 lines are EMAs or exponential moving averages. If you go up to studies and you type in moving, you'll see down here moving average exponential popped up. I added 3 of them with different lengths. My blue one is a 9 length EMA, my orange one is a 21 EMA, and my red one is a 55 EMA. You can change the length of the EMA by just clicking on the settings and then changing this button up or down. The shorter the length, the closer the EMA hugs to the actual price movement, and it's a great indicator of when to buy and sell. If you want me to go more in depth about my trading strategies, like this video and I'll make a video pretty soon on what strategies I use and why I use them. Alright, so next we have the volume average, which is this red and green subgraph down here. You add it by clicking on studies and typing in volume. Down here you'll see volume average. This graph is a lot nicer than the other volume subgraph because here you can see buy volume and sell volume instead of just overall volume. So that's all for my laptop studies. Next, I'm going to show you the second study that I use on my 2 monitors. Alright, so I'm going to use future ticker symbol /QM to show you what my chart looks like, and then you can also see the time and sales since it's trading right now. So these long 5 lines that you see here are my standard deviation channels. Each line is a standard deviation from the next and gives an overall indication of where stock might begin seeing reversals. You add it by typing in standard deviation channel under studies. I have 2 channels, the yellow to the yellow, which is 1 standard deviation from the white line, and then the bluish green, I guess, which is 2 standard deviations from the white line. So now I'm going to zoom into the 5-day 1-minute chart so you guys can see the studies that I have. This is updating super weird. All right, so here we go. So here I have another blue 9 EMA, but now I also have a purple VWAP line, which is a volume weighted average price. The VWAP is good for being a level of support and resistance, and if the price is trading above it, it means the stock is on an uptrend. Also a volume subgraph on this monitor, which is the same as the other study. The volume's a little low right now, so you can't see it very much. Next, down here I have my RSI and MACD, which are indicators that signal momentum and also when to buy and sell. You can add it under studies by typing in MACD and RSI, and you can just leave the regular settings on with them. So these are all the studies that I use for trading. Please keep in mind that many of these studies are lagging indicators, meaning that the data comes after the price movement and doesn't give any prospect towards where a price could move in the future. But thank you for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you made it to the end of the video, and turn on post notifications to get alerted for future videos.